Reps urge federal government to expand CNG conversion centers nationwide. Lawmakers push for cancer treatment subsidies, free nationwide screening. And House resumes plenary, receives FCT budget proposal and moves to probe insecurity. Hello and welcome to You and Your Reps, the program that keeps you up to speed with activities from the House of Representatives and how they affect you. From motions to mandates, debates to decisions, we break it all down for your understanding. I am Victor, so thank you for joining us. The push for cleaner and more affordable energy has gained fresh momentum at the National Assembly. Now, the House of Representatives is urging the federal government to set up more compressed natural gas conversion centers across the country. Now, this follows a motion moved by the Deputy Minority Leader, Aliyu Madaki, aimed at easing transport costs and promoting environmental sustainability.
Lawmakers at plenary acknowledged the Presidential Compressed Natural Gas Initiative as a panacea to the removal of fuel subsidy about 2 years ago. They believe the conversion of vehicles to CNG will bring down the cost of living for Nigerians, hence the need for equitable distribution of the CNG conversion kits and centers across the geopolitical zones of the country.
Only Kaduna in Northwest is benefiting from the presidential initiative, while no state in the Northeast is listed as a beneficiary.
Look at the cities that were exempted. Talk less of even the corridors. Look at the corridor of Lokoja, Abuja, Kano. Why are the CNG platforms?
It's a federal government project, and it's very important that it spreads across board without any segregation or marginalization.
This motion will be referred to a committee to be constituted in due course.
5 bills were passed at Thursday's plenary, including a bill seeking establishment of a National Science, Technology, Innovation and Research Council to set national priorities. Another bill to amend the National Primary Education Commission Act passed second reading.
The bill is set to correct the foundational gap by ensuring that the language of instruction in the first 3 years of primary school is the child's mother language tongue or the dominant local language of the community.
Meanwhile, the trend of defections continues in the House as 3 lawmakers from Katsina State formally announced their resignation from the People's Democratic Party to join the governing All Progressives Congress, citing internal party crisis in the PDP as reasons for cross-carpeting. Their defection was witnessed by Katsina State Governor Diko Umar Rada, who was in the hallowed chamber to show solidarity.
Still at plenary, Kano lawmaker Mohammed Garba Ibrahim moved a motion for the expansion of NYSC Orientation Camps nationwide, saying it's time the facilities matched the growing number of corps members.
The issue of NYSC, I think, is a national issue which needs to be looked at by all and by the government. As you see from the motion, from the introduction, it was introduced in 1973. And as at that time, the number of graduates coming out of schools was not that high or much. But today, there are a lot of graduates coming out. Before, during our time, it used to be only one session per annum or twice. But today, you can have batch A, batch B, batch C, batch everything. When you see that in all the states of the Federation, you see that most of the camps, where you have camps, they only have capacity of maybe up to 2,000 or at most 3,000, and which is not adequate. You see the number of corps members being sent to states is much, so they cannot be accommodated and fed at a certain period. And in some states, even the facilities are not there meant for the NYSC corps members. So they go into secondary schools in order to be trained for that 3 months for the orientation camp. So this motion seeks to address that vacuum. In states where there are no orientation camps, we are calling on the federal government to liaise with the state governments in order to have a befitting orientation camp which can take a minimum of 5,000 core members at a time. In a state where they have the orientation camps, but which cannot take up to 5,000, there should be a means of augmenting the number of people going there. So facilities should be upgraded so that at least at any given time, 5,000 coppers are taken into the orientation camp. This will alleviate the sufferings of the core members. There should be uniformity in some certain aspects. These people should be taught maybe some trades. When they come in, they are being taught how to run leadership training, skills training, man-o, and the rest. So we should try to see that when they come sometimes, they are being taught some skills. People should be taught maybe how to operate computers. Maybe people should be taught carpentry. Maybe people should be taught metalwork or bricklaying. It's a plus for all of us in the country because they have their papers, they have their documents, they are graduates in history, in engineering, in anything. But when you come and teach them skills, this is something after leaving the camp, after finishing the primary assignment, they will go out and practice what they have learned in the camp. That is it. But primarily, what we want is to reduce the lack of facilities in the orientation camps. Because when you go to orientation camps, you see that it's not like during our own time. During our own time, everything was perfect. And in the state where I did it, we did it in the secondary school. That time there was no permanent orientation camp. I wouldn't want to mention the state. But today there are certain states also, they don't have permanent orientation camp. What they have always, they take people there. When the NYSC, when the core members go there, the secondary school students are being sent out of the school so that the core members occupy the school. And then it is only there after the students of that school, secondary school, come back. So we want the federal government to liaise with the state governments in order to see that the facilities are upgraded and they become permanent structures. No, I don't support it, honestly. Personally, my motion did not talk of the duration. But personally, I feel that 1 year is okay. 1 year is okay. My thinking is within 1 year, the purpose of NYSC, when it was done in 1973, it was for Nigerians from the north to go to the south, for Nigerians from the south to come to the north. Those from the east should go to the west. Those from the west should go to the east. Why? We should go and know ourselves culturally. I'm an Osman. I should be taken maybe to the southeast so that I know the Igbo culture. The Yoruba man should come to the north so that they know the Hausa culture. You understand, the Kanuri, maybe they should go and learn about the Yoruba culture. I think this is the purpose. This was what Gawon did in 1973. That time, it was after the Civil War. And we had the 3 R's, reconciliation, reconstruction, and rehabilitation. I think that was what Gawon wanted, or the government of Gawon wanted to achieve. And it achieved it. But the issue now, we are trying more or less to drain, or we have drained from the purpose of creating the scheme. The scheme now is no longer what it is. You see, people are serving in their states. People are serving in their region. At least no northerner should serve in the north. They should go and serve in the south. Southerners should come and serve in the north. Easterners should go to the west. Westerners should go to the east. This was the purpose.
A ray of hope may be breaking through for Nigerians battling cancer as the House of Representatives moves to ease their burden. Lawmakers have passed a resolution calling for subsidies on cancer treatment to support struggling patients. Now, the House is also urging the Federal Ministry of Health and Social Welfare to make cancer screening free across the country, a crucial step towards early detection and better outcomes.
By advocating free cancer screening and subsidized treatment, the House hopes to give such families a chance at combating cancer.
The rising burden of cancer is causing a shortage of funding for cancer control, with public financing being considered the most appropriate to ameliorate the suffering of patients with cancer.
Mandate the Committee on Healthcare Services, in collaboration with the Federal Ministry of Health and Social Welfare and other relevant agencies, to establish a mechanism for the federal government to provide subsidies for cancer treatments.
Talking about treatment here, I want to add the prayer that federal government should make screening free.
Another resolution sought military action against resurgence of banditry in Baruten Kayama Federal Constituency of Kwara State.
In recent time, certain group of people armed with all manners of dangerous and sophisticated weapons converge in the forest in the constituency, disrupting people from farming, establishing their own government, collecting revenues from people, killing people at will.
Meanwhile, the managing director of the Nigeria Education Loan Fund has denied allegations of irregularities in the disbursement of student loans during an investigative hearing.
Apart from the fact that the statement by the ICPC was unfounded and later confirmed by them that they were unfounded, there were also some inaccuracies in the announcement. The announcement suggested that we had received 100 billion naira. That figure was wrong. The announcement suggested that 28 billion had been disbursed. That figure was wrong.
At a public hearing on the bill for an act to establish the National Institute for Film and Media Technology, UKAWU, lawmakers are targeting an expansion of the creative sector.
With the population of the country, only one film institute is grossly inadequate.
The creative sector is the second largest employer of labor in the country and has the potential to create an additional 2.7 million jobs by 2025.
There is optimism that the progress of the bill would enhance prospects for job creation.
Still at the National Assembly, the House of Representatives resumed plenary with renewed focus on national security and governance. Lawmakers passed a resolution to investigate the resurgence of terrorist activities in the Northeast and other parts of the country. The chamber also received the 2025 Federal Capital Territory budget estimate of 1.78 trillion naira, as transmitted by President Bola Tinubu.
To serve Nigeria with
lawmakers resume plenary with renewed vigor to legislate on critical issues affecting Nigerians. Speaker Tajuddin Abbas indicates that the coming weeks will be busy as the House accelerates action on constitution review, concurrence with Senate on tax reform bills, flood emergency preparedness, and oversight of the state of emergency in Rivers State. There was a resolution for decisive military onslaught against terrorist activities in the Northeast.
To investigate the cause of fire incident at Giwa Barracks, Amod, and report back to the House for immediate action.
This is unacceptable. Mr. Speaker, we must stand up and find a way of bringing this issue of insecurity to order.
We don't have enough personnel in these communities. If you go to Kalabalge, we have handful of them. It is the civilian JTF and the hunters and the rest that are complementing the airport.
We lost so many constituents because Boko Haram is using armed drones. Let it be on record. They are using armed drones, weaponized drones, which Nigerian army is not using.
The House unequivocally condemns these attacks on innocent citizens. We acknowledge the need for renewed investment in security intelligence.
The Federal Capital Territory's 2025 budget proposal of 1.78 trillion naira submitted by President Tinubu targets completion of ongoing projects and provision of social amenities for the territory's swelling population.
The 2025 FCT budget proposal prioritizes investment in healthcare services, job creation, youth empowerment, social welfare services, education, infrastructure, as well as increasing productivity in agriculture.
The House witnessed another round of defections as 6 lawmakers from Delta State announced resignation from the PDP to join the APC, while 2 Labour Party lawmakers from Enugu State also defected to the PDP.
Now, every chamber has its symbol of power, and at the heart of legislative proceedings lies one item that commands order and respect: the mace. But what exactly is the mace, and why does it matter so much in parliamentary business? Let's take a moment to break it down with Chairman of the House Committee on Rules and Business, Francis Waive.
In every legislature around the world, the mace is there as a symbol of authority at whatever level. In our country, at the local government council level, the councillors, when they sit, the mace must be there. At the State House of Assembly, at the federal level, national here, the House of Representatives, and then in the Senate, there must be the mace. There is the mace bearer, one of the sergeant-at-arms, who comes in leading the procession before any session begins, bearing the mace. And when he gets in there, as he puts the mace on the bracket, the session can begin as the presiding officer hits the gavel. But I must emphasize that the placement of the mace is a very crucial thing in legislative practice. If it is placed on the upper bracket, it means that the House is meeting in plenary. General meeting, so to speak, in general palace. Every issue on the other paper can be discussed as a House. But when the House is going to a committee, either the Committee of Supply for Finances or the Committee of the Whole for other matters, to do a clause-by-clause consideration of bills that have come from public hearing and all of that. At such point, the mace must now be placed on the lower bracket. If you notice the placement of the mace, there are usually 2 spaces. In the absence of the mace, there cannot be a legitimate meeting of the parliament all over the world. And that's why it's protected. The sergeant-at-arms are there keeping an eye on it throughout proceedings. And it's usually unethical for anybody, even a member of the parliament, to tamper with the mace. So it's protected and taken care of. At the end of proceedings, the sergeant-at-arms picks it up again on his shoulder and leads the procession outside the chamber to end that day's proceedings. That's how important the mace is.
And that's it this week on You and Your Reps. Remember, the decisions they make today shape the life you live tomorrow. Until next time, I am Victor Azu. Thank you for watching.